This is the album Neon by Wednesday Campanella. I'm going to be talking about it today. It's not from this year, it's from a few years ago, but since they have a new album this year and they released an EP last year, I figured I might as well start with this one since in the new version of the band, there's only those 3 products in their whole discography. So let's talk about the band. They were originally formed in 2013. Sorry, my notes are over here. I can't do it like that. That'd be fucking insane. Hello, I'm on the floor now because I forgot I need to read my script, and I didn't have a way to read it over there. So, as I was saying, the band began in 2012 with the original singer Komi Ai and producer Kenmochi Hidefumi, and it's kind of third member who, I mean, he seems like a member, but he's like a manager from what I can gather, but he's like technically a member, but no. However, as of 2021, the current lineup has a new singer named Utaha. She is kind of what has brought about the band's, I don't want to say resurgence, but they definitely have a slightly different sound, and it's a sound that I really like. I could never really get into any of the earlier projects from the band, but this album, Neon, was what really hooked me, and it just felt very stereotypical, like J-popness that Westerners kind of get exposed to at a very certain point, and that kind of is what brought me in. But they also like kind of have every single song be its own specific take on a genre within J-pop. So there's like a lot of like EDM, there's a lot of like cultural traditional, there is a lot of like hip-hop and kind of rap as well. So there's a lot that's going on, and is what makes this album, I think, really stand out from their other stuff, though it was still present in their earlier material as well. Okay, so one thing I want to just kind of clear out of the way is that the band uses a lot of very hyper-specific historical lyrical content in their songs, and they are like old tales from like Japanese like folklore or maybe other cultures or like religion. And while you can really get into the details for each of these songs, this would be a much longer video. So for that reason, I'm not going to be talking about the lyrical content, though I will highlight maybe if I like the lyrical content every so often, because that is just a massive undertaking that just kind of goes beyond a review, talk about an album sort of video. So alright, so let's start with the first song, which is called Himiko. So if you're into dubstep, I think you'll definitely like this. It kind of has that pop sort of sound, and then every so often, I wouldn't quite say the hook is what's dubstep, the whole kind of song is, but definitely the hook has some of those like very harsh like synths that are going to just, or I guess if you're into industrial music, you'd probably like this as well. So what else I'll say is that it is much less lyrically interesting than other songs on the album, so it's a great start, especially for the band's new lineup, because like I said, it is more dubsteppy, which is kind of out of their usual forte, but not my favorite song on the album, I would say. And so the second song is called Edison, and this one has really blown up from what I can tell on like social media and just online in general. I think the YouTube video even has more views on it than some of their other videos as well. One thing I will say is that it is a certified bop. I think it really does deserve all of those likes and shares and everything. I think it's a really fun song, even if it's not as like cool for like us Americans, because like, oh yeah, like I love Thomas Edison, but he was also kind of an awful dude, which I don't think gets communicated around the world enough. So like, yeah, he has done some really cool things, but I don't know if a fun pop song needs to be made out of him. But with that said, I will say this is for sure my like second favorite song on the album. I find that it has this really playful, fun beat, and the lyrics are fun as well and interesting in an out of the ordinary. I've really never seen someone glaze Thomas Edison this much sort of way. And again, the hook is also really fun, but again, absolutely glazing Thomas Edison. And on top of that too, it really shows off how well Utaha has this great like rap flow, and this will come up a lot throughout the rest of the songs on this album and their next EP and their singles and their album after that. For that reason, I think it also kind of shows off how she's very multifaceted and is a really good choice for this new stage in the band's career. The third song is called Isun Boshi. It's got another really fun hook, And honestly, this would probably sound really good in an outdoor EDM music festival sort of connotation. The next song is called Buckingham, and I think this is really the song that took off from this album. It's for sure the coolest in their, at least like current version of their discography as well, in my opinion. It's got fantastic production and mixing and just like sound MIDI choices. It's also another great representation of how well Utaha can rap. I think she really kills it on this song, especially because it's really hard lyrics that she has to kind of like rap quickly too. And I'll talk about that here in 1 second. On top of that though, her singing sections are really fantastic too. And again, they show off how good of a vocalist in general she is. She can rap, she can sing, and that's kind of what you want in a lead singer. So they casted her perfectly, I think. And so lyric-wise, it's really interesting in that the lyrics are, in a way, like geographical. It uses a lot of like coordinates and size dimensions of Buckingham Palace as like kind of the hook, or at least like the lead up to the hook, which is really cool and interesting. And like I said, I for sure have not seen that happen anywhere else. I think this is really just a standout track for Utaha in general, her skill, the lyrics, the production, and just everything. And I especially love how there's this like string section that comes in seamlessly towards the back half of the song, and I just feel like it kind of like sneaks up on you. It's very slow to start, and then it kind of crescendos, and then it's like significantly more noticeable, and then it's still on key with all of the electronic production in the song, and it just works out extremely well. One thing I'll be mentioning throughout this video is how the album soundscape does sort of have this like neon aesthetic to it, and I feel like this song is probably the best representation of that on the album. Alright, so next song on the list is called Alice, and it's got a great beat, also an insanely catchy hook too, pretty much par for the course so far. It's kind of this retelling of Alice in Wonderland that Japan just loves to talk about, explore its kind of like themes and plot and symbolism and all that. So nothing too special thematic wise on this song or lyric wise. I mean, there's kind of some standouts, but it's not really doing it for me. It continues the kind of neon theming that I was talking about. It's kind of got that very colorful soundscape to it. It's very vibrant, it's very bright. So I guess it does get a thumbs up in that aspect, but maybe I've like heard it too many times over the years, so it just kind of lost its luster, but it's still pretty good. So check it out. Okay, next song is called Moyai. I like the song overall, but I'm not really a fan of this like weird sample that it uses throughout the song. It sounds like Tracy Morgan. I haven't really looked into it. I don't really care to. It really takes me out of the song, and I don't know if it's like this for other people. I think it's like, it's sort of like try-hardy, and it's this kind of like gruff dude shouting, and I guess it is kind of like more of like a typical like EDM song, but it doesn't really complement the actual production at all, and I would like this song significantly more if it just did not have that sample, because I kind of dislike it to this degree. It kind of takes the album down a few notches for me, especially with like the lead up of fantastic songs up until this point, and then you get hit with Moyai and it's like, oh, I don't like this. Weirdly enough, I find that the instrumentals on part of the hook really remind me of something that Adam Young from Owl City would have produced or come up with, but I don't know what that is. I've tried to figure it out. I've gone back to his like 2009 to 2011 material, and I just can't figure it out, but I know it's there. And I hope someone figures it out. This song is just kind of always underwhelmed me, and I think it always will. So if you are short on time and you're like, I have to skip a song, skip this one. I think that's completely fair. And with that, we're at the final song, which is called Maneki Neko. It's a fun song with a fun hook. It's very cutesy, again, very vibrant, very bright. It's much less EDM-y than a lot of the other songs, though it's still a pop song, so it's kind of got those EDM sensibilities that you can find in a song in 2024, or I guess 2022 when this came out. It's a pretty good way to end the album, I find, so no harm in that. I think this album is a really good exhibit of what is coming next for the band. The following EP, called Rabbit Star, is sonically pretty similar to this, though it has its own standout moments and hooks and production that do make its songs a little bit more distinct in a way. There's a bit more house on that album, which I think actually works really well for the producer and for the singer. I think house music is kind of their bag at this point, though they are continuing to make very bombastic pop and EDM songs still. I think house is a really cool idea that they could probably make an entire project of, and I really hope that they do. I don't normally score albums. Scoring's fun, but I would rather know if like something is worth listening to or not. So I'd say definitely listen to this, but definitely what you don't have to do is listen to Moyai. It's that vocal sample that I just really do not like, and I wouldn't say it's like song ruining, but I do skip that song every time I listen to the album all the way through, besides for this review, because I needed to kind of refamiliarize with why I don't like it so much. But you can definitely skip that. But so overall, I would give this album a definitely listen to. It's very short. Their EP that came out after this is even shorter, and their album from this year is actually quite longer than this. So if you like this and you're interested in the Rabbit Star EP and you don't want to listen to it, though you should, you can watch my upcoming video on that. And so I also hope to get to their newest LP called Pop Delivery sometime soon, because I think that's been out since June. So I would like to get to that this year for sure. So thank you for watching. Check out my last video if you haven't already. I didn't know I posted a video like 2 years ago, so you can check that out if you want. It's a little out of date, but it's there if you want more of me. So thank you for watching, and have a good rest of your day.